Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another ESL 1 Frankfurt qualifier. We're in Europe this time. We got a best of 3 between Danish Bears and No Diggity. Already well into the draft, so we'll get right into it. Danish Bears, they first picked the Prophet,
Alchemist.
and they'll go for a second pick Alchemist. And No Diggity, meanwhile, picked up the Beastmaster Invoker. Very, very standard combo. Roar into Sunstrike. It's pretty good. But the Alchemist second pick is something we haven't seen in a while. And even when teams do want to grab up the Alch, normally it's a little later in the draft. So, interested to see where they're going with that and why they prioritized grabbing it so early. I imagine that will be for ping Vinsec in the mid lane. But if that's the case, then he's going to have a bit of a rough time against the Invoker, unless he gets some help. That should be a somewhat Invoker-favored lane at the very least, especially if Qualifiers is going Quas Exhort, which he almost always does. And OD, the ban, interestingly, from Danish Bears, with the Invoker already picked up. But No Diggity have run the OD in the safe lane for Era before, so that wouldn't have been too much of a surprise if they'd picked that up again. The Bane banned out for No Diggity. Now, actually, Bane is a hero that they like to run themselves, but Rise has played some amazing games on that in the last week or so. So I think that's more of a targeted ban than anything particular about how they want their draft to go. Just wanting to take Danish Bears out of their comfort zone a little bit. And for the rest of No Diggity's draft, I'm curious to see if they want to put on the pressure a little bit. You're against a Nature's Prophet and an Alchemist, two heroes that you really don't want to go too late against unless you can shut them down early. You've already got a really great ganking duo in the Beastmaster Invoker. Also, good pushing duo with the Boars, the Inner Beast, and the Forge Spirits. So, No Diggity could pick up an Enigma for Yapzor. It's something they do favor. It would be more units for the push. And they'll ban out the Oracle for themselves. And Danish Bears with the Slardar ban. Now, I have not seen No Diggity pick up a Slardar at all. That being said, though, in the games we saw yesterday in the NA qualifiers, Slardar seems to be coming back a little bit. He was out of favor for a very long time, but he's been picked up recently. Now, they'll go for the more standard Vengeful Spirit for Cinderin. And this is just one of their go-to comfort heroes. No surprise to see it here, but whether or not they'll follow it up with the Enigma, it would be a really nice combo for them with the Venge to take Roche as well, even though they are on the Radiant side. So my money is kind of on the Yapzor Enigma for now, but we'll see what they want to do. They certainly have other options. Danish Bears, you go for the Night Stalker. So Vision Control. It's a great ganking hero in his own right, especially when you're on a team with a Prophet who can teleport in at any time. That can be a little scary for Danish Bears. It also nullifies slightly the advantages that Beastmaster gives you. Oh, thanks, AB Turtle. My bad. I thought I switched that over. Sorry about that. Okay.
5 seconds remaining.
So, as I was saying, the Night Stalker nullifies the value of the Hawk slightly. Yeah, and there's the Enigma for Yapzor. No surprise there. Just because it'll reduce the Hawk's vision at nighttime. And so it's kind of a double win. You're giving vision to your own team and taking it away from No Diggity. So now, No Diggity, they've got one last carry left to go. Danish Bears, they've still got a lot of options. This is most likely a support Night Stalker, which means they need another support and probably a safe laner for Ace.
10 seconds remaining.
And do they want to go full global split push kind of style? They could potentially pick up a Spectre, although with an Alch that's really greedy.
Reserve time.
But it would fit the kind of ganky global nature of their squad. Gyrocopter will be the choice. Okay, that's fine. Just a solid hero and good at D-push, which is going to be important against all the units that No Diggity are going to be bringing to the towers. So support ban still to come from No Diggity.
10 seconds.
They've already taken out the Bane, the Oracle. Might want to take out the Witch Doctor as well.
5 seconds remaining.
Rise does like that hero. Or
Reserve
potentially the
time.
Winter Wyvern would be a good choice. Whoever gets Beastmaster Ward, you want to protect them. And of course, Sunstrike does go through the Cold Embrace. So maybe not necessarily the best choice here, but they could potentially go for something even more safe like a Dazzle. The Coddle will be the ban.
Dire
Makes
team
sense.
battle.
Another D-push hero. And does reveal even more so that No Diggity do want to value this early tower pressure kind of lineup, banning out that hero. And now Danish Bears, what are they looking to get rid of? No Diggity, they
10
probably want
seconds remaining.
some kind of pushy core for Era.
5 seconds
He could
remaining.
potentially go Luna, although that is kind of risky here. It's vulnerable to ganks,
Reserve
especially from the
time.
Night Stalker. You might want to see even a Dragon Knight. Now, I'm not sure the DK is something that No Diggity run, but it could definitely fit in with their lineup here. And okay, well, that's more standard. The Drow Ranger,
Team
buffing up all of these heroes right-click except for the Beastmaster. And good last pick. Really going a bit more all-in than I thought they'd want to in this game, but it's an old go-to for Era, all the way from back in his Fnatic days, and a really solid lineup for No Diggity. Now, Danish Bears, they're still looking for one more support. They've got some decent
10
deep push so
seconds remaining.
far with the Gyrocopter and the Prophet. But for their other
5
support, I'm
seconds
really
remaining.
actually quite favoring the Dazzle here. The Shadow Wave is good for pushing lanes.
Reserve time.
It'll give you a save against whoever gets Beastmaster Ward. Not sure if they play the hero, though. But it could be a nice pickup. Other than that, a Treant Protector is another possible option. But that does give you 2 melee supports. So not necessarily the best. And Living Armor does not last long against the pressure that No Diggity is going to be putting on their towers. So that's a bit of a gamble. They'll go for a Rubik. Okay. So lots of great spells to steal here. Basically, anything the Venge does, anything the Enigma does, anything the Invoker does, and almost everything the Beastmaster does are great steals for him. And a nice game to pick him up in. It also does give them some wave clear as well with his Q. So, not Q. His W. Now, the best thing I can do, I think, to improve my casting is just memorize the names of these damn spells. But so with Rubik and Gyro, they'll be able to push out the waves relatively effectively, may be able to hold their towers early. But against Drow, Invoker, Enigma lineup, that's never guaranteed. And we'll have to see if Danish Bears can hold out long enough for their Alk to come online for their
10
Prophet
seconds
to
remaining.
get the split push going, or whether No Diggity can knock down these towers
5
early
seconds
and claim
remaining.
that early advantage. Should be an interesting one. I always like watching Drow lineups because the pressure is on, right? There's no just sitting back and farming. A team has to make something happen, and it makes things interesting early.
Prepare
So we'll have to
for
see
battle.
Yapzor again taking that Enigma. It'll be Era on the Drow Ranger heading to the safe lane. Koikva going mid on the Invoker. It'll be Keizu on the Beastmaster, and that leaves Sindarin on the Vengeful Spirit. On the Dire side, we've got Noya supporting on the Night Stalker. It'll be Ping taking the Alchemist towards the mid lane. Ace on the Gyrocopter. Rise supporting on the Rubik. And finally, it will be Hestajo on the offlane Nature's Prophet. And Koikva's mic exploded. Well, that's dramatic. Better now than later. True that. Well, we're in for a bit of a pause, guys. Now, while this is on, I'm really curious to see how this offlane works out for Keizu here, because he is going to be vulnerable with a Rubik and a Night Stalker. Lift into slow and a Gyrocopter Rocket Barrage will wreck him. So I'm curious to see whether Danish Bears are going to run a full defensive tri-lane, or if they have the Night Stalker more roaming around. If he sticks in lane, Keizu's not going to get a whole lot. Now, he does have that early ring of protection, can go for the early Iron Talon build if he needs to. But I'm sure he'd rather be able to stick in lane. And we're go. So clearly it didn't actually explode. Otherwise, they'd still be cleaning up bits of metal from all over Quickfoot's computer. Too bad. It was a good mental image. Anyway. Some early scouting. Hester Joe sending his treants into the jungle, keeping an eye on things, and they'll scout out some of No Diggity's movements here.
30 seconds to battle.
And it doesn't look like we're going to have any clashes early. Alchemist, holding the point, really wants to be able to skill Grievel's Greed, but unfortunately they're coming down to the same place that No Diggity are. But it's 4 versus 3. I don't think No Diggity can contest, and Noya, he'll drive them back. Ping will get the rune. Actually, Quickfoot slowed. There's no follow-up damage, though, so he's fine. But Alchemist gets the rune, and that's double bounties going the way of Danish Bears. A nice early start for them. And Alchemist getting that level 1 rune is always a huge deal. It's probably already going to be his bottle coming out. No, just Quelling Blade Healing Salve, but still, a nice start for him. Oh, of course, he's already got a Poor Man's Shield, so if he had his bottle already, that would be a little insane. But. So Quickfoot probably going to do okay early on until the Acid Spray spam starts coming out a little bit more. But of course, Ping, with that Grievel's Greed, going to be getting a lot of gold out of this lane. And whether No Diggity can stop him or not, I'm not sure. It'll rely a lot on what kind of rotations the Apsor wants to make out of the jungle to pressure this lane. Now, they are running a dual lane on bottom. Hester Joe has been joined by Noya, so he's not going to sit up top. Keizu should get a little more out of this, therefore. And they're just going to try and pressure Era a little bit, which makes a lot of sense. He is the linchpin of their draft here, so an ability to shut down Era early would limit No Diggity's ability to get those early tower pressure going. So, makes sense. Keizu, though, this guy, probably my standout player for this team. And you don't really want to let him have a free time on Beastmaster. There's a lot of vulnerable heroes for him to gank. So, him getting an early start is just fine for No Diggity as well. And Ace, going to try and contest. Rocket Barrage is ready. Unfortunately, Keizu a little too far away for the lift, or they could have potentially got a kill there. But he'll play nice and safe, and we'll get out. Meanwhile, bottom lane. Looks like there was a bit of a go on Era, but a stun from Senderin will keep him back. Now mid lane, very, very even. 7 to 8 as far as last hits go. Keizu, he's found his level 2.5, and Hester Joe in a similar position. So very even so far in this early game. Both cores getting farm. Actually, the Drow kind of shut down a little bit here early. She's only 4-1 compared to the 9-5 of the Gyrocopter. So this early pressure, having the Night Stalker here, so far paying off. And Senderin, there's only so much he can do. Actually, Era could be falling here. The slow. If that was nighttime, he would have been dead, but fortunately it's not just yet. He'll salve up and be just fine. And this Beastmaster getting a reasonable amount, 7-3. The Treant with the slight advantage there, though. Of course, he does have the support in the lane, so that makes things a little easier. Of course, the trade-off, though, is Yapzor, who's completely uncontested in the jungle. And is 13-1. And he's already got the, looks like the Soul Ring coming out. Yeah. And nice pull from Danish Bears. They'll get the creeps onto the side camp, and that will give them access to plenty of XP. Shut down Era that little bit further. He's actually caught back up a little bit, sitting at 9-2. But relatively quiet early game. Both teams waiting on some levels to make their early rotations. I imagine we'll wait to see level 6 on Yapzor before he moves over, which he's getting close to, level 4.5 right now. And of course that first night time in about 20 seconds for Noya could be their go time. And as I say that, they do manage to catch out Keizu on the off lane. It looks like that was a TP in from Hestejo. We'll clean that up. Didn't even have Sprout. Just secured it with an extra couple right clicks. And first blood goes the way of Danish Bears. A nice start for them. And now it's nighttime. And Era and Synderen have to be really careful down here. Hestejo back down. And they are very vulnerable here. Era saving up a lot of gold. He's hanging on to 917. Not sure what his play is here. It looks like Yapzor, realizing it's nighttime and his carry is vulnerable, is going to rotate over. Farm just a little bit close to the lane so he can be available if something goes down. I like that positioning from him. Now, Noya was thinking about going in on mid lane, but Koikva's playing nice and safe back behind the tower. And they will get the D ward. That's a pretty big deal. Didn't have that long left on it, but that certainly will help prevent any damage coming out onto Era here. Noya just trying to see what he can get, but they're keeping a fairly good eye on him. This ward here is helping out a lot, and if he moves off lane, they'll be able to warn Koikva. And they do have vision of him thanks to Yapzor, so you can't really wrap around through the trees and go on Era from behind. And now Yapzor is pulled completely out in front. He is 33-1. And doing very well for himself. Almost level 6 too. So Noya and Hestejo actually have to be careful. But they're going on Aaron for now. The slow is there. Synderen saving the stun. We'll use it on Hestejo. And Hestejo could be in trouble now. The Malefice is there and he will be going down. That's your first blood. Noya being slowed up. Synderen, does he have another stun? 6 seconds. It's not going to be enough. Noya will get away. But a nice kill. Going the way of no Diggity. So Noya tries to go on Era. Doesn't work out. They trade a kill the other way. Keizu almost at his level 6 now. Soon we'll have that roar available. Nature's Prophet in a similar position. And the lanes somewhat even, except for the disparity of this Enigma, who is getting a lot, and that should be putting no Diggity in a slight lead economically. Yeah, we're looking at about 1,000 gold lead. XP, though, is in their favor as well, as he's getting a lot out of the jungle. So, no surprise there. It is just early days yet. And no Diggity certainly do come online earlier than Danish Bears, so not really too worried if you're Danish Bears yet. Alk is getting a lot. He's 40-1. And that translates into a lot of gold for him. If we take a quick peek at the net worth, he's ahead by about 500 gold, despite being even on last hits. Now, engagement, bot lane, Synderen. The gyrocopter is rotated through, and that will result in a kill. They're going to dive Era under the tower as well. He's safe for now, but they're coming in. He's going to cut his way through the trees. Nicely played. We'll get out. Noy's still chasing, and he's got the move speed, but Era has a point in Gust, so we'll be fine. But this should be an early tower takedown, unless they bring a lot of heroes in. And it looks like they're going to go for the trade instead. Koikva, Yapzor into the mid lane, and they're going to push this tower.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
So bot tier 1 will fall. Keizu putting a little pressure on this top tier one as well as the mid, but neither fall just yet. They do stand as Ping with that defensive acid spray cleans up the way fairly quickly.
Tower is under attack.
And that'll be it for now. Era does lose some farming safety though. With that tower down, his jungle becomes a lot more unsafe, and you have to think that no Diggity have to put some emphasis on making sure that he gets his items up. He's gone for an Aquila, the full Aquila, and has boots online now too, but definitely needs a little more time before he is fully up and running. And Koikva, he's doing just fine for himself. Has that Midas online. He's the Radiant's leader in net worth. And what was stolen? Forge Spirits, that's a nice take. And it's double at this point already, too. Koikva. 4 points in both Quas and Exhort already. Farming up a storm here. Top lane. Got a bit of an engage. The roar comes out. YapzOr going for TP out. Won't make it, though, as the second hit of the call down comes out. They'll take Cinderin down as well. They did find the Prophet. And was... Black Hole was committed for that, though. So a big spell usage, and it results in a 2-for-1. And nice rotation from Ace. He's been all over the place, using the Gyrocopter well early, taking advantage of that early spell damage, and comes through, and a call down on 3 heroes at 9 minutes of the game. It's pretty hard to stand against that. So nice pick for Danish Bears, making it 2-4 on the map. This does mean that Era's having some free time here. The pressure's been taken off his lane with that tower falling, and he's kind of left to his own devices now. All of a sudden, up to power treads. The tower pressure's coming out top, though. They do have 4 heroes here. Slow on to Keizu, but it is daytime, so he should be okay. But this should be a guaranteed tower. Axes, trying to clear it up. Ace will just force them back. And looks like No Diggity have no interest in rotating. Ping actually gets very, very low, though. But does survive. Rise TP's in to help. And this tower does still go down. So early tower advantage going the way of Danish Bears. And this is against the Drow lineup, so they're kind of curtailing the Drow lineup's ability to get ahead in early tower gold by taking some early towers of themselves. And with the Gyro and a Nature's Prophet, that's certainly an option for them. And Drum's already completed on the Gyro, so he's getting a pretty decent amount here. Sitting at 5k net worth, he's 2-0 and 2. And Ace with a good start can definitely do a lot to hold against these tower pressures that No Diggity are going to want to put out. So, well, things getting a little nervous for No Diggity. But, again, Quakefa's still farming well. Era's still farming well. He's a little behind, but not so far behind that he's going to be useless in this game. Does have his level 6 online now. And they can maybe look to rotate, group up, and put some tower pressure out. Nighttime is popped, though. Just looking for the Hawk, not going to find it. Just getting at Roche. Danish Bears a little quiet, so they're unnervous. With the acid spray, as well as the Gyrocopter, they can take Roche fairly easily. So, good on No Diggity to spot that out. Of course, with their lineup, Roche is something they'll have their eye on to pick up for themselves. An early Aegis onto Era is going to definitely be part of their game plan for these tier 2s, if not these tier 1s. So, not wanting to let Danish Bears sneak it, they want to at least have a shot to take that big boy out. And smoke play from Danish Bears, 3 heroes heading towards the bot lane. Will they catch anyone here? All of No Diggity is fairly close together, but Cinderin a little out in front. Actually, they run into the YapzOr, and this will be a dead hero. Goes into the trees, but the call down will secure it. And Noya looking for more. The Vision spots Cinderin. And they're going to pressure this tier 1. So off the back of that kill, this is your last tier 1 going down for for No Diggity, 12 minutes in. And I really like this way of countering the Drow lineup. They're just going to take down all the towers before No Diggity can get their push going. And so that early gold lead that your Drow lineup wants to have from towers, they're just going to be trying to catch up, not get ahead. And with that tower takedown, with Hestajo and the Alchemist, they're going to head right to Roche, and it'll be a fairly quick one. So if No Diggity want to contest, they got to move, and they got to move fast. Looks like they understand what's happening. Are they going to smoke up under this ward, though? I think there's no pings. I'm not sure if it was spotted. They were kind of behind the tree line here, but I think one of them was visible. They are moving in as 5. Black Hole available. And the call down is there, but it's only going to connect on YapzOr. The Roche is already down, though, and I'm not sure No Diggity can still contest. Keizu caught out, will be going down. Ace getting low to the right clicks of Quakefa, but he does have the Aegis. Cinderin, though, they've managed to clean up the Night Stalker as well. Now they've got to get out. Ping. Ultimate popped. There's a TP forward from Castajo. They catch Koikva in the Sprout. Now Meteor Sun. Oh, nice. Black Hole onto the Meteor combo. Ping will go down. And there's a stolen hole, though. Catch Era and Cinderin. And that's going to be 4 for 2. A big victory for Danish Bears there. Getting the Roche as well. And Koikva dangerously low. A nice steal from Rise on the Rubik. And that stolen hole will secure a big trade for them. 4-9 now your score. And that's a big advantage going the way of Danish Bears. Not only should they claim the Roche, they do lose the Aegis already in the fight. But that does mean that No Diggity doesn't have that option. And that's going to limit their ability to push. They are falling behind and they're vulnerable. And without that Aegis, they're going to be really hesitant to push towers now as 5. The lead, not insurmountable. It's a 4K lead, 14 minutes in. But with a Drow lineup, you're wanting, ideally, to be pressuring high ground at around 20-25 minutes. And their time has been slowed down immensely. Now, if they catch Ace, this could be a huge pickup. But Keizu actually going to get caught out. Ping is there with the stun. Keizu will get away. Now they're going on to Hestajo, who's getting very low, slowed down, controlled up, and he's down. Now they turn around, swap back, pin Vinsec. The call down is there, it hits on multiple heroes, but it won't finish anyone off, and that's a nice 2-hero pick for No Diggity. Well played, getting 2 very important heroes, and that's a 2K gold swing already. Big deal for No Diggity, finding those picks. And Keizu got super low, but doesn't fall, and has that Necro 1 book up online. Maybe this is going to be their chance to make something happen. Yapsor with the mech, too. That's a huge item, and why they were able to keep the heroes alive in that fight. It's a really good time for him. And now Koikva with a Blink Dagger all of a sudden, on top of that Midas and the Yules. So despite the fact that he's playing against an Alchemist and his team's behind, he's still at the top of the net worth. 3-0 and 2 on him, and 100 last hits. Compared to that to Yalk, 0-2 and 3 and 91. So does only have the 2 points in Grievel's Greed as well. And he's found a Blink Armlet himself, so definitely not going for a sit back and farm kind of build. Looking to fight and fight early and often. And Arrow working on the Sanjin Yasha. Getting close. Cinderin just with the Bracer. He could turn it into a drum, or it could just be some casual health against all the magic burst of Danish Bears. And Ace, well on his way to Sanjin Yasha of his own. I imagine that's what he wants to go for. The pings are coming out mid-tower. It's going to be the target. Yapsor with the Eidolons and the Boars. They can make this push happen. Nature's Prophet comes out and gets all these creeps low, unfortunately for No Diggity, but the tower is low as well. And, well, Danish Bears don't want to give it up for free. They're rotating over. Glyph is popped. And Ace with the flat cannon turned on will clean this up relatively quickly. Meanwhile, Trance are pressuring bot. And I don't think No Diggity want to engage into this. We're talking about a call down and flat cannon. Gyrocopter is very, very powerful right now, but there is a smoke up on the backside. They're going to try and make for a backstab play here. Actually, maybe looking to catch out the Nature's Prophet. 4 heroes smoke, though. If they don't find him, then this is going to be a lot of wasted time. They see him, the slow is there, and he won't be getting out of this. So nice catch from No Diggity. Canceling out the split push. Now they can go back and pressure a tower if they want. Need to push out this wave, though. That'll be left to the summons, it looks like, and they'll head back mid. Hestajo's been on point with the scouting treants, though. He sees No Diggity's movements, and Danish Bears, they'll know what's coming. No Diggity going to go for it anyway, though. Black Hole, available again. Boar is online as well. They will take the tower. And so just one tier 1 standing for Danish Bears now. Tower lead almost evened up for No Diggity. And how's the net worth looking after that? Actually, they've managed to pull it back almost to completely even from a 5k gold lead. And XP in the same boat, so No Diggity, they've recovered nicely. Now again, they do want to be ahead at this point of the game, so this is not ideal for their game plan, that they're just even. But given where they were, it's a nice recovery. Now, they need to keep it up, though. And, well, that'll help. Koikva, solo kill onto the Nature's Prophet. Well played from him. Yules into Sunstrike. It's pretty good. And of course it does help that his base damage is being increased by 55 from the Drought Aura. Can't underestimate that spell. Now, Keizu, roar onto Noya. Does he have the vision for it? He does. Gonna use it. The call down is onto 3 heroes though, but Noya's already dead, and there is no follow-up. The call down will not result in any kills. And nice 2 quick picks from No Diggity. They're gonna rotate and pressure this tower now. Danish Bears, they are grouped up. They can defend. The Acid Spray's down. Has to Joe back in. No Diggity. They're just going to pressure with the creeps for now. They're not going to engage. They're rightfully so nervous about the teamfight damage that Danish Bears can bring out. So they're just maybe going to do a bit of a fake back. Is there a smoke available? There's not. Scouting for ward vision. Is this in range? It just isn't. That's unfortunate. And with these 2 sentries down here, they may feel safe in the area, but they're not. All of Danish Bears gonna go for a smoke. Just 3 heroes. But it is nighttime. And with the lift into the stun of Ping, he does have a Blink Dagger too, remember. This could be an easy pick. No Roche for a minute, so that's not the objective. They're going to head on to mid lane. And the Yapsor may tank the gank yet again, but No Diggity all very close this time. And he does have the Guardian Greaves already, so he's quite tanky now. They're going to rotate down, back around. They may find Keizu here. The vision is up. They spot Cinder and out. And an Era as well. But the smoke has run out. So it looks like they may just turn this into tower pressure. Not going to find a pick. But they will be able to group up and go on this tier 2. And Era, the rest of No Diggity, they can go for smoke themselves. They will do so. And Koikva, holy balls, this man has an Ags already. Trees cut down. Yapsor looking for the hole. He silenced up the roar onto Noya. The Sunstrike going to connect as well. That'll bring him down. But Ping heads onto the Yapsor and he will fall. No buyback on him. Ping, though, taking a lot of damage from Koikva's Meteor. Era doing what he can. He's found 2 on the backside. Keizu will finish off the... and all of a sudden, that's 4 dead. Yeah, the fight a little split up. Era and Cinderin going on one side. Koikva and Keizu on the other. And Danish Bears, they don't focus their damage. And it results in a 4-for-1. Yapsor the only hero to fall. And that's going to result in a couple towers down for them and a big swing of momentum going No Diggity's way.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And, you know, Danish Bears, they're thinking they've got the teamfight advantage right now. They've got... it was nighttime. They had all of what Noya has to offer. They've got Gyrocopter spells, level 2 cooldown, but you can't underestimate the amount of damage that No Diggity has thanks to Era. Like, he's currently giving everyone 54 right-click damage, except for Keizu right now. And No Diggity, with that, they are really scary in teamfights. Cinderin as well, with that 4 points up in Vengeance Aura. So he's buffing everyone's damage by 36%. And it's really hard to teamfight into that, no matter how much damage you have. Tier 2 should fall here. Or at least get pressured relatively hard. Danish Bears are going to defend. And No Diggity not super interested in contesting. But holy balls. Look at this Koikva farm, man. Boots of Travel, Blink, Ags, up at 22 minutes. Oh, and the Yules. Let's not forget that. 13, almost 14,000 net worth at the 22-minute mark. This guy is balling. Gold per minute. What's that at? 615 for gold per minute for Koikva. An impressive showing from him. And having the Guardian Greaves this early against the Gyrocopter, Flat Cannon does not actually do that much, because as soon as you get someone low, all of a sudden they got, what is it, 20 bonus armor? 15 armor, still. So the Flat Cannon is just going to be tickling at that point. Later on, it'll have a bit more of an impact, but for now, No Diggity's team fight is extremely strong, as we just saw. Now, Cinderin, Drums Online, working on a Vlad's. So he's actually hitting quite hard in his own right. This is not a typical support right click. He's hitting for almost 200 with that Max Vengeance aura. And he's found his level 11, so XP is doing really well. And with the Vlads for his team, it's some really nice armor in addition to what the Guardian Greaves already provide. And Roche is up. Looks like that's what No Diggity are going to be going for here. There is vision in the area. Has scouted the boars and will scout the Eidolons as well. So Danish Bears may know this is the plan. And Era finished up interesting. Dragonlance into Manta style. Not a common build, but against the Gyro, a nice choice. Lets him stand a little far away. He doesn't have to stand in the Acid Spray to right click. And with the Manta can split push. And the Yaps are working on a BKB now. And there is nothing on Danish Bear's side that goes through that. So if he gets a BKB off, he's guaranteed a hole every time. The question is whether he can prevent it getting stolen by Rubik. He's really got to catch the Rubik in there, otherwise it's a little risky for them. Now Ping has managed to find the Sanjin Yasha, so he's tanking up, getting that damage. Hesta Joe has the Maelstrom as well. And Rise has found himself a Blink. So 3-1 of 4, he's had a very good game and is in a great position to start stealing some really good spells in these fights. He's already had a pretty big impact this game. No Diggity, they're doing a really good job of not getting too aggressive. They're the earlier game lineup, but they don't feel panicked. They don't feel like they're forcing action. Now, this could be a huge fight. Nighttime is popped, but look at Roche, already down. They take it so damn fast. And the Guardian Greaves pop just to make sure everyone's healthy for the potential engage from Danish Bears, but they're not going to commit. It's too late. And that took all of 5 seconds to bring down. That's insane. With the Max Vengeance aura, as well as the armor reduction from Venge. Well, that's the power of this lineup. And with the Aegis, No Diggity, they will finally feel comfortable to put out some pressure on these tier 2s. But again, they're going to play it very cautiously. Just Force Spirits and Illusions pressuring the tower. They won't commit. They're playing very, very safe. Not wanting to get caught out by what is a very scary lineup from Danish Bears. Noya, he's managed to find his Ags. He's got the gem as well. So vision becomes a problem for No Diggity at this point. And they don't want to let the game go on too long now that that item is online. Because they do have the potential to be starved out, caught out the longer the game goes. But they do take towers, well, let's call that relatively quickly. Yes, just the Forge Spirits and Era hitting them together bring that tower down to about a third health already. And they're not going anywhere with the Aegis online. Era's going to send the Illusions in. Or pushing in the other lane. As well the Illusions. And that's a tier 3 down. Absolutely no pressure required. That, swap out on Hesta Joe. The stun is going to be there and the slows. He's down almost immediately. Has buyback. The call down. Not going to connect on anyone. Ping. BKB popped on the backside. He's going on to Yapsor, who can turn for a black hole, but he doesn't want to just solo. Gonna go for it anyway. Ping down. And now, Rise in danger. So is Noya. And the Meteor combo will come out and will clean him up. That's a monster kill for Koikva. Hesta Joe has bought back, but there's nothing he can do. The rest of his team is down, and GG is just called. All of a sudden, I believe the phrase is that escalated quickly as No Diggity, off the back of one pick, one swap from Cinderin onto Hesta Joe, and they clean up the fight, they clean up the racks, and that's GG. So nice patient play from No Diggity, waiting for their moment, and when the moment came, they seized it, and they seized it hard. That's game 1 going their way. We'll be back in just a minute for game 2. Don't go anywhere, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll be right back.